This video is for those who want to grow their careers and monetize their personal brand on LinkedIn. It's for the people who want to position themselves for opportunities and open doors and maybe, switching careers or making more money. I'm about to share with you some secrets on how you can become a thought leader or an industry leader on LinkedIn. As a former global creator manager at LinkedIn, I was working for LinkedIn, the global biggest, largest professional network in the entire world. I was working with a lot of creators, building programs and helping them to position themselves on LinkedIn, to grow their profile, but also to connect them to life-changing opportunities. Some of my creators became top voices with that blue badge, which position you as the top leader on the platform. So through my experience, I've learned the best strategies on how you can grow your LinkedIn profile, how you can position yourself as a thought leader, and also how you can attract all those business opportunities and monetize your personal brand. So are you ready for it? Let's get into it. First of all, let me know in the comment section if you have a personal brand and if you want to monetize your personal brand. Numbers don't lie, so I'm going to give you some numbers so that you can really understand what we're talking about. 70% of recruiters check the applicant's social media profiles before hiring them. 70%. And you know what? 54% of them are rejected based on what they find. Can you imagine that? So what I want you to do, I want you to open a private navigator or private tab. I want you to go on Google and I want you to tap your name. Type your name on the search bar and look at what come out, because that is what recruiters do, or that is what your future business partner or future client is going to do. They're going to look at your name and look at the things that are associated with your name. So you want to do some cleanup, right? You want to make sure that, you come correct and there's nothing that you posted like 15 years ago that is going to stop all the opportunities, that is going to prevent you from having all these amazing opportunities. So that is something that I would suggest for you to do before even starting to position yourself as a LinkedIn thought leader on the platform. I'm going to share you just a little of my story, my success story about my personal brand. My first job at LVMH, working for Givenchy and Kenzo, was given to me thanks to my personal brand. I was hired because I had an incredible personal brand and I knew how to, position myself correctly for the opportunity. I made a short video about my success story on how I was able to step into the luxury industry thanks to my personal brand. You can check that out, okay? Number one, let's talk about just personal brand 101. Just the basics, because you need to master the basics before you start becoming a thought leader or an industry leader on LinkedIn. If you don't know what personal branding is, if you don't have clarity on what that looks like, it's really going to be confusing when you're on that platform, right? Because LinkedIn can be very intimidating as a platform. It's not Instagram, it's not YouTube. It can be very intimidating. So you want to make sure that you have clarity on what is the kind of personal brand that I'm building. So what is personal branding? Personal branding is who you are, what you want to be known for, and then who do you want to serve? Very simple. Who you are as a person, what do you want to be known for, and who do you want to serve? That is the ecosystem of personal branding. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, first of all, who I am. And we talk about identity a lot on this channel. It's very important for you to spend time to know who you are. Then you want to have an idea of what do I want to be known for? The goal of this is not to put yourself into a box or to niche down or to stick to one thing, because on this platform, on my YouTube channel, you guys are multi-potential and multi-passionate like me. I am a multi-potential person and I'm multi-passionate. So what I want to be known for is like a mixture of my expertise, right? You don't want to just niche down to just one thing. But if one thing works for you, good. That's fine, okay? And then who do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve is just like, who are the people that's going to benefit from your identity and your expertise? Who are the people that's going to benefit from your experience and the things that you're going to share on the platform? You really need to have like an idea. You don't need to, you can have like a target audience, but again, that is kind of flexible, but just have an idea of the kind of people that are really going to receive your experience, your content with open arms. My 3 B's in personal branding is brand substance, brand positioning, and brand expression. These 3 principles are the ones that guide me when I'm creating my personal brand. I want to make sure that I understand my brand substance, which is what is my why? What is my purpose beyond my brand? And then my brand positioning is what sets me apart, what makes me unique from everyone, from other thought leaders or other industry leaders. What is my story, right? And then you have brand expression. So that's more like my style. That's my personality. That is how people perceive me. That is my makeup. That's how I look. You know, that is also important, and that is also part of my brand. So you can ask yourself these 3 questions, like what is my brand substance? What is my brand positioning? And what is my brand expression? This is just personal branding 101. I haven't even started sharing the secrets on LinkedIn, okay? Be patient. I'm coming, okay? I'm coming. Here are my books recommendation for personal branding. If you want to deep dive into this, these books are really the top of the top for you to understand what personal branding is and how you can build yours. I'm going to list them on the description box as well, so you can check it out. Now let's get juicy. Let's talk about LinkedIn. Number 1 secret about LinkedIn is your profile has to be killer. Honestly, your profile has to be amazing. It has to be top notch. When people get into your profile, they want to connect with you. They want to follow you. They want to hear more. They want to send you a DM. That's the kind of profile that you want. So how are you going to get a killer profile? Number 1, your picture. You need an amazing picture. Don't put a picture when you're on vacation or when you're sitting on the beach or when you're, at a restaurant. No, put a nice picture. You can smile on your picture or not smile on your picture, but the most important thing is that your picture is just welcoming. We want to see you. We want to talk to you. You want something that, attracts people's attention, right? So get you a nice headshot or get you a nice profile picture that's going to stand out. Then your headline. Honestly, the headline is it's not extremely important, like it's not the most important thing, but you just want to make sure that you keep it simple. I see people on LinkedIn writing these thousands of words on your headline. Like, that is unnecessary. It's too much. You're confusing people. Keep it simple. It can be either your job position, or it can be your mission statement, or it can be just like your niche or your industry or your skills, but keep it simple. You don't want to overwhelm people when they come into your profile, especially for the first time. You just want people to have clarity on who you are and what you do and what you're creating on LinkedIn. That's it. Keep it simple. Another thing you can do on your profile is to record your name. For example, I have an African name. I have a Nigerian surname, right? Queen Elizabeth. That's my first name, but it's easy to pronounce. But Iowa, sometimes people like, is Iowa? Is it the American state? I'm like, no, it's just Iowa. To make things easier for people when we have our first conversation, I like to record my name on LinkedIn. So you can record your name. And what is amazing with that is like people hear your voice for the first time, and that creates emotional connection. When people hear your voice, there's sort of like a connection to that. There's a connection that is creating. The last 2 things about your profile is you want to add your industry. That is important because the algorithm is going to suggest profile based on your industry. So you want to make sure that you get that correctly. And then your summary. That is like your elevator pitch. But honestly, it doesn't have to be an elevator pitch. It can just be a summary of who you are, what you've done, and your skills. Keep it simple. The most important thing is like you don't want to overwhelm people with saying too much. You just want to give them a nice impression and a good reputation, and then just that kind of kick for them to send you a message or for them to contact you. But again, your LinkedIn profile is not enough. You have to create content if you want to become a thought leader. That is mandatory. That is the absolute number one thing to do on LinkedIn. If you want to become a thought leader, you have to create content. And there are different types of content, and we're going to go through that. On your profile, you want to make sure that you detail your experience. So each job or each opportunity that you've had, you want to make sure that you detail, you say what you've done, but also you share the skills, the things you've learned, and if possible, and I really, really recommend you to do that, attach some videos or some pictures or some content so that people can have an idea of what that looked like. Again, visual content is so appealing. People love to see things, love to see a picture, love to see a video, right? So it's so important to like hook people with that visual appearance. So make sure you have something to attach to it. What I do is like, I love to record a YouTube video about my experience, and then I like to attach that video on my experience on LinkedIn. You know, that is so amazing because people get to see my YouTube channel and they're like, oh, she's a YouTuber. On top of that, she did that, she did that. So it just helps people to have an idea of who I am. So it's something that you can do actually. If you can create a video, you can create a video about your experience. If you can write an article, that's amazing. If you're good at writing, it can also be just like simple visuals that you can do on Canva, you know, so just something to attract people's attention. Okay, now we're going to talk about content creation on LinkedIn. I want you to remember these 3 C's. First C goes for content, the second C is conversation, and the third C is consistency. This is the 3 things that you need to master industry leadership on LinkedIn. Let's talk about content first. Number 1, you want to focus on creating content that is relevant to your experience. Honestly, there's no need to be faking on LinkedIn. Like, people can see through you. People can see through your content. So just be honest and be authentic about your own experience, about your own expertise. Don't try to invent something that don't exist. Don't try to position yourself as an expert. If you're not an expert, it's okay to be becoming. It's okay to be in the process of becoming an expert. It's okay to share about your process. It doesn't necessarily have to be an outcome or a result. It can also be a process. So you just have to make sure to share things that are really real to you, because that's the way you're going to connect to people and you're going to build community. So be transparent with your views and your opinions. And if you want to create like a content strategy, I would suggest you to use like content pillars. You can have different topics. You know, you can have like 3 topics that you can talk about on LinkedIn. If you want me to deep dive into content pillars and how to create a content strategy here, let me know in the comment and I will definitely do a video on that. But the idea is just for you to have 3 different types of topics that you can talk about on LinkedIn. Now let's talk about conversation. The idea of conversation is like when you post on LinkedIn, just think of it as a conversation. You're having a conversation with people, not just something like, oh, you just want to brag, but really like, I want to like hear from you. That's why it's good to ask a question at the end of your post. That's good. That's why it's good to reply to comments when people comment on your post, because you want to have a conversation. And when you have conversation with people on LinkedIn, they tend to like DM you. Also, when people comment on your post is visible to their own audience. So you're literally traveling in different audiences and communities, which is amazing. So you want to make sure that people see your post as a conversation. And then consistency. Well, this is not new for you, right? Consistency is so important on social media when you're creating content, but on LinkedIn it's a little bit different in the sense of like you can post between 2 to 3 times a week. Even once a week is also good because the algorithm is always showing your content to the people that matter to you. So it's not like Instagram. It's such a different algorithm. So posting just twice a week, that's amazing. And lastly, when you're posting your content on LinkedIn, don't expect to like go viral your first post, right? just be patient, right? It takes time. It's a very different platform from other platforms. So it takes time for you to start having tractions and result from your content. All right, so I'm going to give you some best practices for you to become a thought leader on LinkedIn. And hear me out. If you apply these best practices, I assure you that not only you'll be able to position yourself as a thought leader, if really you have expertise and something to share to this community, right? You're really going to have a lot of opportunities. You're going to meet amazing people and you'll be able to create gradually your own community. So let's get into the best practices. Number one, diversify your post. You want to try different things, not only videos. You want to try images, you want to try newsletters, you want to try all the types of content to see what is going to work for you. For me, for example, video work amazing on my LinkedIn profile, but I'm pretty sure if I create a newsletter, it's not going to work because I've tried writing on LinkedIn. It doesn't really work. People like to see my face. So I'm going to show that to them, and I'm good at communicating. So I'm using my strength. So what is your own strength? Are you good at writing? Are you good at talking? Are you good at, audio podcasting? You need to know your strength and try different things on LinkedIn and then see what works well, and especially what your audience resonates the most with, right? So if your audience is so engaged through video content, then you just know that you need to stick to video content, right? Another best practice is if you're in a very niche industry, or if you're in an industry that is really booming and you have a lot of news and people are talking about it, I encourage you to share your opinion on LinkedIn. I feel like when you take a news, like an industry news, and you try to twist it and give your own perspective, your own thought, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be right. It's your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are valid, right? But you're just sharing something that's coming from your own thinking. I feel like that positions you as a thought leader because you're able to bring a unique perspective to the table. You're able to really share something that is so particular and original, and people love that on LinkedIn. People love original thoughts. So I really encourage you to find those industry news that you actually care about, because if you don't care about them, what's the point posting, right? You have to care about it. You care about it, and then you think it through. You find your own ideas. Oh, what do I think about this? Or do I actually like it? Oh, how does this apply to my job? And then use that to share content on LinkedIn. Lastly, I'm going to talk about hashtag. You don't want to use more than 5 hashtags. Actually, I would recommend you using 3, maximum 3. The people that use over 5, the algorithm is not loving that. It is not loving that. I can tell you that. They don't love that. Just put 1, 2, or 3, or 4, 5 maximum, okay, of hashtag. You must know that there's so many people on LinkedIn that are literally craving for your expertise. Maybe you feel like the job you have is so boring, like there's nothing, you don't have a lot of skills, or your job is so boring. Maybe you feel that way, but I assure you, when you start sharing things about your job, people are going to find that so fascinating. There's so many people that I've met on LinkedIn and they don't have an active profile, and they tell me about the job, and I'm like, why don't you post that on LinkedIn? It's such an amazing thought, or it's such an amazing job. I want to hear more about what you do, So I want to encourage you to really see thought leadership in another perspective, in another light. Your current job, where you are right now, or your current business, or your current career path is so worth it. It's so worth it. There's so many people that can learn from you. There's so many people that can really connect to you on a deeper level. And also there are many opportunities that are waiting for you when you start creating content on LinkedIn about your own experience, honestly. And that's how you can grow your career, and that's how you can also stand out, especially in this digital world that we are in. If you don't have a personal brand and you're trying to grow your career, it is difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you, it is difficult to grow your career without a personal brand today. So I would really encourage you to grow your career, on LinkedIn using your personal brand. So that's it for me, guys, today. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you're able to grab some strategies for you to become a thought leader on LinkedIn. If there's any topic that you want me to develop or go deeper, please let me know in the comment section. I'll definitely do a deeper video on the topic. I hope you have an amazing day or an amazing night or an amazing week. Keep being great, okay? Keep being you and standing out, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bisous.